Allow us to take this moment to come together, to feel, notice, and recognize that God is. God is in everything that we see, that we feel, that we hear, that we know, because that potent presence is in all things. It is the essence of life itself. And so as we take this moment to recognize this divine, infinite presence, allow us to also recognize that that seed has been planted, bestowed within each and every one of us. Within our speaker, provided with the perfect words, dictation, within the audience, provided with the listening skills to take what is theirs to take. And within every other piece and element within our environment that allows us to live in harmony. How good it is to be alive and to know that truth. And so we just give thanks for that knowingness, that gratitude of being able to say, God is and I am. So I let it go, I let it be, and so it is. Well, as you know, or maybe don't know, we are currently in our season of peace. And that being said, we are going to be honoring the Muslim traditions, and I have a prayer for peace from them. I've also invited my lovely candle lighter today, Mr. Drake Hughes. As I begin. In the name of Allah, you tried me. Beneficent, the merciful. Praise be to the Lord of the universe, who has created us and made us into tribes and nations that we may know each other, not that we may despise each other. If the enemy incline towards peace, do thou also incline towards peace, and trust God. For the Lord is the one that heareth and knoweth all things. And the servants of God, most gracious are those who walk on the earth in humility. And when we address them, we say, peace. Thank you, Kaleem, for holding the peace. Now I've got a inspirational quote today. Got a couple of inspirational quotes today. Thank you, Drake. Nature will not let us stay in any one place for too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. This is a wise provision, for should we stay here too long, we would become too set, too rigid, too inflexible. Nature demands the change in order that we may advance. When the change comes, we should welcome it with a smile on the lips and a song in the heart. From our genius, Reverend Don. Change is not happening to you, it's happening through and for you. And as you, if I may add. All right. And that takes us back. I think that's my first time hearing that one. That was beautiful. Well, good morning. Fancy. I like what's happening with the choir. You guys are sounding better every time. I have to give you some major credit. It sounds better every single time, and I'm loving the addition to the music. Good morning. I don't know where we're at anymore because it's snowing all of a sudden, so things are a little bit weird in Alaska, but we are here, still grateful to be alive, and I guess we always get that second spring, that little fall spring. But at any rate, I've got some announcements, everybody's favorite part of the day. My first announcement, I want to skip. I don't want to talk about it, Rev. Can I skip it? Can I just skip it?
Who's happy with that?
Yeah, right. Can we all just, if you have not heard the news, our lovely Reverend Dawn is retiring. Well earned, may I say. Obviously, you have been contributing so much to our center. Personally, I remember being in the very, very back row thinking I could just hide and come in all low-key like and just see what this place was about. And I just remember that first time hearing you on the platform, and I was just thinking, his voice is captivating and he's funny. What? And it resonated with me so much. And that was 7, 8 years ago? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're funny. Putting that word into my sacred reading was also funny. So well-deserved, and we have an opportunity to come together as a collective and send off our lovely Reverend Dawn with a potluck. What better way to do it here at the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living? So please join us. If you are usually attending online, I get it. I love that for you. You have an opportunity to come and join us in person on March 30th. It will be after our service that we will be saying our goodbyes or farewells, or see you later is much more what I prefer. Aside from that, there was I'm just going to throw this in there, a book study that was currently planned for tomorrow that we are postponing until further notice. So if you were planning on attending, just keep your eyes and ears out for when that date will come back up. We have a few meetings on the board coming up. So our meeting that was scheduled for the Listen. It says from the 10th is now for the 17th, which is today. So 6:30 tomorrow. I knew that. Yeah. Thanks, guys. What would I do without you? The 17th. I'm already wearing green, so I feel like the 17th is today. So we do have a meeting tomorrow, and everybody is welcome. No experience necessary. It is about having an opportunity to come up with ideas and join the idea team, the creative team, and the events team. So absolutely invited for that. Wednesday, March 19th, so also coming up this week, 7 p.m. Alaska time, we are going to be participating in a Zoom meeting for visioning. Please open yourself up to the divine. It will be led by Tony Shannon, who has been really spearheading a lot of these visioning opportunities. When practiced regularly, it can transform your life. So we have the information on the Zoom link. If you are eager to join, if you are thinking visioning, it's not quite visualizing, but it is a very powerful technique. All right, last but not least, our annual meeting notice will be held on Sunday, the 27th. That is, again, going to be after service in April. Yeah, sorry, in April. There are 2 open seats on the Leadership Council. I know that as far as participating in voting, you do have to be a member, and there's plenty of time before that. If you are interested in actually registering as a member, it's a pretty simple process. But yes, April 27th, there will be a meeting around our Leadership Council, and if it's something that you are interested in maybe becoming or joining, then you can speak to Rev Dawn, Amy, or even Judy, who is here today. Okay, I'm sure I probably forgot something, but for now, that is all I have.
Thank you, Aaron and choir. It's wonderful to have all of you here today. Kind of a unusual Alaska weather pattern, but it's nothing we can't get by as long as you don't slide all the way through the intersection of the old Seward and Diamond, which I did this morning, and got to turn around at the Diamond Center to get here. Earlier this week, Reverend Linda, myself, Ann, and Lynn, and Marion all attended the CSL annual business meeting. That's the home office business meeting. And they updated us on things that are happening at the national or at the global level, as well as things that are going on. And today's talk, rather than my usual inspiring, uplifting.
Funny. Humor.
Yeah, what was the deal with? He's lovely and funny? I don't know. Funny strange or funny ha-ha. I don't. Anyway, so we attended this meeting, and it was a good meeting. Everybody had a good time. Some of the highlights, and I want to share with you because I think it's important for people, not only those of you in this room, but our regular congregants who are not here today, and those of you online who may know nothing about the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. And this will give you kind of a picture. There are 456 communities globally. There's 223 centers like us. We are a center. And there are 233 teaching chapters and study groups. Not included in that add to that plus 114 spiritual circles that meet weekly. They're in 13 countries and over 900 participants weekly. The spiritual circles seem to be a really good way for people to get together. They're based on the magazine, and that gives the groups a framework or something to work with. And as I thought about that, particularly in relation to Talkeetna, it'd really be good if you had somebody that was really familiar with all of the science of mind principles and spiritual practices to help guide a group like that, rather than just let them wander around the desert for 40 years. Within CSL, there are 22 councils, committees, and teams. Worldwide weekly attendance is 19,000 in 2024, which seems light to me. I don't know why. When you look at some of the centers, the biggest in our movement is Mile High. I think they have, their attendance is down. I think, or their membership is down. I think they were over 10,000. I think today they're about 8,000. But I know they've gone to 2 services. Now they fill their 1,800 seat auditorium twice. Twice during the morning and then once at night. But that's still, but by that count, 19,000 weekly in 24, and that's an increase over the 18,000 that we had in 22 and 23. It seems that 22 and 23 were the bottom of the apex, and now we're starting to once again increase in weekly Sunday attendance. Now, the bad news was that annual donations are down by about $600,000. So there will be a little bit more on that in a few minutes, but donations are down. In terms of what we look like, I label this CSL growth, but we have 786 licensed ministers. That many renewed their licenses this time. 42 new emeritus ministers. 18 brand newbies came in this month, and 22 licensed ministers were ordained. Just to put that in context for you to see, the 18 new ministers we have, that's from all campuses. We had 7 from the Denver campus alone when I graduated. I think we had 27 or 28. So the number of new ministers is shrinking. And the fact that we had 22 ordained says a lot too. Just for my own curiosity, I checked to see how many actual applications were in for ordination, and there were 28. So there were, it's not a gimme. It's not a walk in and, oh, you're ordained. It's a pretty serious thing. So there were 6 people that got as far as the panels and were asked to go back and work on some facet of their ministry to come back in another year. We have 2,063 licensed practitioners, 457 emeritus practitioners. We have one of our own right here in Killeen. There were 65 new practitioners licensed this year and 49 new emeritus practitioners. 701 practitioners renewed. In terms of communities, 7 new communities were created, and there are 9 in progress right now to become a new community. There were 16 pulpits filled and 19 communities in transformation, one of which is the Alaska Center for Spiritual Living. Education, that's one of our movement's big things. You know, that's our mission statement, is teaching spiritual transformation. In terms of education, we now have 27 certificated courses that are available. We have 114 students enrolled in the Advanced Consciousness studies. That is really just old Practitioner 1, first year practitioner studies. It's now called Advanced Consciousness Studies, and we have 114 students in that globally. Part of the new model is that, you know, when so many centers pivoted to meeting remotely, they developed really good online programs. And we are really on the cutting edge of that too, with Kaleem and his endeavors in what he does with centering prayer. Now it's oneness prayer, and the use of technology and the equipment to be able to facilitate that. And so those centers have been able to embrace the new certificated classes. There are 114 students in what used to be Prac 1, 86 students in what used to be Prac 2, and that's called the Professional Practitioner Studies. This year we had 2,972 students globally registered from 129 communities in 10 countries throughout the globe. And we began the introduction of the community-based education portal. Remember I said they had 27 certificated courses that are now available. Well, there are a total of 68 courses listed, and that number is growing. So that means that there are more non-certificated courses than we used to have. And we've seen that reflected here. We are so much typical. I swear, we are right down the middle of what our national movement does. If you recall, you know, over the last couple of years, we have pivoted to a lot more book studies, shorter things, instead of the grueling 3 hours a night, you know, and lots of homework and papers to write, and, you know, no. People weren't, that isn't what they were after. They were wanting the meat of it without having to do that. So we've come up with new courses and new ways of doing things in this community-based education portal. We have development of 3 new certificated courses this year. We're rewriting professional practitioner studies. That's year 2. They're going to be rewriting that. In fact, they're in the middle of it now. There is the retirement of 5 current certificated courses. And that's a huge step for somebody like me and our practitioners here. They all came up. I mean, you took foundations, you took power of your word, you took meditation is more than you think, you took visioning, you took, you know, these, you know, the essential earnest homes and roots. You took those classes, and 5 of those aren't even going to count toward your practitioner, now advanced consciousness studies prerequisites. But they've got all these other new classes. Retirement of 5 current certificated courses, creation of self-directed spiritual enrichment course program, and the continued expansion of the community-based education portal. The next thing that we saw, we looked at some of the financial results from this year, from national. Our revenue this year was $3,159,000. Our expenses, even though we squeezed the blood out of every turnip, our expenses were $3,674,000. So we had a $515,000 shortfall. Now, you know, that is what it is. Luckily, or because we had been very good stewards of the money that all of you have given us over time, we had a cushion and were able to do that. So we had to step into that. But at the same time, with that kind of a shortfall, something had to be done. And we've seen the results of some of those things. What they did is they came up with what they call the OSP. It is the Operational Sustainability Plan. So the 2025 Operational Sustainability Plan started off with a staff salary and hour reductions. Everybody at home office took at least a 10% cut in pay. And then they were asked to consolidate services. We now have 19 employees at home office, and before, I don't know what the count was before. I think it was about 35, but I know it was over 30. Well, you know, you can't just come in and cut over a third of your workforce without having a really negative impact on the outcomes. And I look down at some of the people that I used to count on. Misha Brigham, she was always my buddy if I needed practitioner things done. And I didn't like to bother Linda Summers because she was doing really busy stuff. She's the one that was head of all the things with all the practitioners. So I'd have to get Misha to do it for me. And Misha's no longer there. So I get to bug Linda Summers whether I like it or not. But rather than sacrifice outcomes, rather than sacrifice support for the field, what they've done is to virtualize everything. We no longer have a home office. We still own that building, and it's a beautiful building. We still own that, but nobody goes there. Everything we've got our home office is virtual. All the meetings are Zoom, that's what we've done. And it has drastically reduced our expenses. Other things that we've done, we've been able to save significant amount of money by going to a new banking system. We have a new accounting system, part of which we have a new payroll system. We are optimizing our software licensing. And I can see exactly how that came to be. When everybody is scattered from hell to breakfast and they're no matter where they were and you don't meet anymore, oh, well, I need Publisher. Oh, here I am going to Microsoft and I buy Publisher. And then, you know, somebody else needs PowerPoint, and they get PowerPoint, you know, along with, so what they've done is they've taken, this is just one example, but the Office suite of software from Microsoft, and we've got Word for everybody. We've got Excel, we've got Publisher, and all that under one bigger license, saving everybody a lot of money. Another thing that they did, and this is a blow, they had to close the Holmes Institute and the master's degree program. You know, personally, I am really, really proud of that master's degree. And I didn't get exactly straight A's, but I tell you, I worked my butt off to get that, and so did a lot of other people. And it's gone. Now, we were fully accredited. You know, that master's degree is recognized as a full master's program, but we no longer offer it. Instead, we have the SSL. It's the School of Spiritual Leadership, and it's good. It brings up ministers in a lot of the ways that in the Holmes Institute, we did it through a series of 15 internships. You had to do internships. Now, for those of us that came through Alaska, we breezed through a lot of those because our practitioners, if they wish, are engaged. You know, one of the big ones for doing in there is doing a Sunday service. Well, if you're at Mile High, let me tell you, you're not going to get anywhere near that pulpit. You've got to work around it a lot of different ways. In Alaska, if you're a practitioner, you're going to ministerial school, you're invited to get up and give a talk. You're invited to put together a program. And that's just one example. There's 15 of them that you have to do. You know, some of them I was better at than others. And boy, when I hit the road and became your senior minister, the ones I was weak at sure slapped me in the face. That's the way it goes. And also to help squeeze that shortfall, the ministers and practitioners' licensing fees all went up. We reduced the cost of producing the Science of Mind magazine. And when you just go in and start cutting, mistakes are going to be made. And there were a lot of decisions that were made that really affected the ability for the magazine to continue the way it was. And I think it's human nature to, well, whose idea was that? And Holly Sharp has headed up the magazine now for a couple of years. And I feel so sorry for her because I feel like so many people are pointing the finger at Holly Sharp. And to me, that'd be like kicking joy. I mean, booting your puppy or something. I mean, she is such a hard worker. She's just, but you cut too much too fast and you do, and so they pivoted it over, you know, going to 2 issues at once. So we only get 6 magazines a year. They cover 2 months. Yeah, we did that. It saved $80,000 in that one move by itself. But in the process, it happened too much, too fast. The publisher, I mean, the actual printing and all the other stuff, we're screwing the pieces down on that to get all the cost out. And look what we got. You know, 1 2-month period, I think we got our magazines got here with about 2 weeks left in the second month. But I just want to defend Holly. Yes, and kudos to Holly for that. For the microphone, what Joan pointed out was that this month the magazines got here on time. Okay, double the issues and they're increasing the price. We haven't had a price since way before COVID, and it's not like it's going to break the bank. You know, you can still afford $8 for 2 months worth of the magazine. You know, a couple of lattes at Starbucks. And another thing that they have committed to doing is to redouble the efforts to sell that big, beautiful building. It's gorgeous. It's up on the hill above Golden, Genesee Park. I mean, they've got elk that walk right by the front door in the morning. They've got deer. There's a huge bison herd a short distance away. Luckily, they don't come tromping through, but everybody's kind of worried about that. But what did we do? Somebody looked up and said, holy buckets, the bucks aren't coming in. We need to do something. So what do you think we did? Oh, let's have a little test here. What do you think we did when we saw the revenue wasn't coming in like we anticipated? Claire. Visioning. Claire gets the absolutely. First thing we did was vision. What do you think the second thing might be? Absolutely. Prayer. We also meditated on it. We prayed on it. We did all of our work first, and then outcome of that was the operational sustainability program. And it's no different with us here. And I'm not going to get into our local finances. I'll leave that for Reverend Linda and Cynthia and at the business meeting in April for all of you. But we followed those exact same things. We've been visioning on the highest good for ACSL for about 6 months now. Bless Tony Shannon. She is so, and she leads us through that. And it's good. It's a good thing. And I have no doubt that that the outcomes are going to be great. So with all of that and thinking about the home office and the big building it is, and so during the convention, they got another offer for the full asking price. So maybe we're going to sell that big, beautiful building after all. And I want to talk about one last thing. In the beginning, last fall, okay, back up a little bit. I don't know if you are aware or not, but Instagram has been Jennifer's little baby. She started out, and God, I remember when we got 10 followers. She was so excited we've got 10 followers. You know, and then 20 and 25, and oh boy. I think when we hit 50 followers, she was over the moon. And what she does is she takes the talk and she listens to the whole thing. She's going to know science of mind better than me. And then she takes a small clip. And I think the small ones are about a minute. Average is maybe 2. But there's some there in that 1 to 3 minute range. I think one was particularly good. I think it was Kaleem, but it was stretched out to 5. But that's real rare that we... But it was so good that she couldn't cut it down anymore, and that too is Kaleem. So... and then she puts that up, and we're slowly growing. You know, we get 1 every other week or so, or maybe we'll get 2, and and slowly growing. I said when we get up and we've got more followers on Instagram than we do people in our mailing list, we'll know we're really making a big penetration, and we got that. We finally got up there, and it's great. So Jennifer, she's a wonderful asset. She got one talk that she really liked, and so she broke it into 4 segments instead of just having one little 3-minute blurb. She got 4 2-minute blurbs. And she posted it right away on Monday. And I think she put it on Facebook. I'm not sure where all she put it, but she boosted it. And what she did is she said, this is part 1 of a 4-part series. If you want to see the rest of it, go to cslalaska.org and watch the rest of them on Instagram. So that's what she did. She did that for the whole week. And she was really anxious to see what happened. Well, guess what happened? 20 new people. We hadn't had that big of a jump ever. So we went from 120 to 140 in 1 week. And it was people wanting to see the rest of those segments. So we're kind of taking the lead on this. So there were some other things that I better look at my notes. She boosted it. She put notation that this was the first of 4. To see the next 3, go to cslalaska.org. Connect with us on Instagram and follow us. And we had 2,634 visits to our Instagram page in the previous 30 days. We are now averaging 4,800 visits per month over the last 90 days. But this is the statistic that has me floored. 2.6% of those visits, not even 3% of those 4,800 visits are from our followers. The thousands are from people that aren't even following us. Now these are short clips. This isn't talking a 20, 25-minute sermon. This is a short little clip. So we don't have, on Facebook, you get all these people. Oh my God, we had 400 people this week. Well, 380 of them, watched for 4 seconds and clicked out. You don't have that with this because these are so short. We're really confident that virtually all of those 4,800 people in the last 90 days watched the entire thing. So we're reaching a way larger market. But in order to allow us to continue doing that, we need your financial support. Now, most of the people in the room here are supporting us financially now, and that is wonderful, and I cannot adequately express my gratitude to those of you who are doing that. But there are a lot of people who are in that 97% that aren't followers, they aren't on our mailing list, they aren't anything, and I would invite you to help us by supporting us financially. And there's ways you can do it all the time. cslalaska.org, and there's a donate here. And I would ask you humbly to support us financially to allow us to be able to continue to do this. This is our mission. We teach spiritual transformation with grace and joy. And that's what this is all about. No, they don't come and sit in this sanctuary every Sunday, but they're watching. And if they pick up one little thing, it's all worth it. These are difficult times. And I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat or Whig or it doesn't make any difference. These are tough times. And a lot of people are really distraught. One of the statements that I heard, and I didn't even get who wrote it. I think it was Ty Winkler. He's our new acting CEO. And he said, we have something that the universe or the world craves right now. what we offer, people need and want. I think we can try and get it out to them. So I think that's the majority, that's the highlights. We also had elections. We got to listen to all of the candidates and their speeches and presentations and stuff. And we've got new members on the member council, the practitioner council, the ministers council. We've got a new leadership council. It's a good mixture of veterans and newbies. I'm excited about it. I think we're going in the right direction. And I think we can turn around and really thank our dedication to our principles and practices for delivering us to this place. And so with that, in fact, it's getting kind of late, I would invite my colleagues to join me in holding our congregation, those in this room, those who are watching, regulars, first-timers, for holding our city, our state, our nation. We simply recognize that each and every one of us, regardless of our background, our geographic location, anything else, we are magnificent expressions of that infinite creative force which is God. And as we go through life, we can step back and remember that we are that creation. We have been created by the Almighty. And all of the qualities of the Almighty reside within us. So as we face life's challenges, and there will be challenges, whether it be employment, health, prosperity and abundance, or our relationships, there is a power in the universe that's greater than we are, and it is here to help us. It is here to guide us. If we will only open our ears and listen, take the steps that we need to take, and allow that divine current, that divine creative force to help us pass any and all apparent obstacles. So we can just give thanks. We can give thanks that we have this center to go to, not only on Sundays, but on every single day. We can give thanks that we are in such close connection with that infinite power. So we just express our thanks. We step back, we let it go, we let it be. We let that divine current carry us. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Okay. This is the time in the service where we are afforded the opportunity to participate in the law of circulation. First, I should quickly recognize some of the people online today. Chris B., Tony, and I hope Tony's feeling better. You know, she had a temperature of 104, and it was for days.
That's not good.
Not good. Christine N., I wonder if that's Christine Noel. Oh! Yuko and Michelle Kuntz. Well, instead of jumping into the music, we'll do their affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Gathering, where we can recognize the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows of life, because that is just the nature, the cyclical nature of the divine. But we trust that no matter what it looks like on the surface, deep beneath the soil, there is always thriving life. And so as the tide rises and falls, as the moon rises and falls and circulates, as the sun rises and falls, we trust that even when our organization goes through it, when our lives show up going through it, that we are still perfectly protected within the light of the divine. And so we can just allow the other things, the doubt, the hesitation, the fear to fade as we capture the truth and knowingness of the perfection that is truly within and around us. Trusting that things will always turn out for our highest good because there really is no other way. I am so thankful to know in this moment and every moment going forward that divine truth is peace, it is love, it is prosperity, it is oneness. And so everything else can just fade. All that's left is gratitude. And so it is. My affirmation for the day. I take steps. And I skip the escalator. And so it is.